say don't get too close to the fire.
Man, I'm so excited. Today on the show, we have singer-songwriter, 90s absolute hit maker, Mr. Bryan White. Thank you for hanging out with us.
Thanks, Britt. Thanks for having me, man.
Man, I'm so excited. We've had several people want you to be on the show, and they've requested it, and I thought, well, now is the best time. Let's get it going.
Awesome.
So I was telling you before we started, a couple months ago, I was on Facebook, and I saw that you were starting a mentorship program, and that intrigued me. I thought, man, how cool is it for an up-and-coming artist, or anyone for that matter, songwriter, whatever, wanting to get mentored and helped by you. Tell us about this mentorship program, how it came about, your passion, your vision behind it, and all that good stuff.
Well, it's funny, man, it came from my family, actually. It came up in just talking one day about, and somebody said, well, you ought to look into setting up a situation where people, young aspiring artists can kind of pick your brain, from your experience that you've had in the industry, and you probably have a lot to give to somebody. And so I kind of rolled it around in my head and prayed about it a little bit, and then we, it wasn't hard. We just, everybody's got Zoom. So I've just got a great team of people that help set up the meetings. And so far, man, believe it or not, that they've really been fun. I was a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
Just wondering how it was going to go and how things would play out. And if I, felt like I had something to give to each person that called in to do the Zoom meetings. And man, it was like they were just orchestrated perfectly. It's like that, I felt fulfilled on my end, because I felt like when I hung up from the call, I felt like I really was in my wheelhouse. And I could tell that they really walked away with something. And so far it's been really wonderful. It's been a great experience for me.
Oh, that's awesome. So you've already had people reaching out and wanting to be a part of it, I'd say.
Yeah, surprisingly, it's been a pretty overwhelming amount of people from literally all over the world too. I mean, I did one last week with a gentleman from New Zealand, and it turns out that I'd actually met him briefly when I was there, and we actually shared the stage together. But so you never know, from day to day who you meet. You never know when they're gonna circle back.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. Have you had anybody from the Philippines yet?
Not yet. I haven't. But I wouldn't doubt it if one comes shows up on the schedule at some point. So
that's awesome. Well, we'll touch on that in a minute. So, are you? I know you're a songwriter, and is that something you're passionate about, mentoring? Like if there is a songwriter, someone who comes along and says, "Hey, I need some mentorship in the songwriting area," or is it mainly recording or learning the business? What are people reaching out for, or is it a plan that, I don't know, all kinds of different things, or is it just?
It's kind of been all of the above. There's been some mentorship meetings that have been centrally focused around just songwriting, and what's really cool is we've got an hour. And so they'll play me songs. Some people sit there with a guitar and just sing me 2 or 3 songs and ask me what I think. And typically, I mean, so far I've heard some really great stuff. And I just kind of throw my 2 cents into, to stuff that might help them kind of round out the idea a little bit better, or sell the hook a little bit better, or whatever. And then some sessions are geared around touring. How can I make more money touring? How can I be a better touring act if I'm just a local act? And then there's other things that are more, focused on just being an artist, an all-around artist,
Right.
branding, how you look, all those kind of things.
So it's a wide variety of clients, or people that are reaching out to you. Just a
Oh
wide
yeah,
variety of questions. Okay, that's
yep.
that's awesome. That's what I was curious about, and you know, we'll post the contact information when this show drops, Brian. I think it's awesome what you're doing. I think it's incredible, actually. Having a mentor. I love that you called it a mentorship. But having a mentor is so important in so many areas of life. I believe, I think more students graduating high school should be mentored on how to learn how to write a checkbook or keep a bank balance.
Boy, no kidding. I wish the school system did that. That's one thing that they do not focus on. So
Mm-mm.
I'm with you on that. And I think, man, we all need people in our lives
Mm-hmm.
that are just giving us an outside perspective and really, having accountability. That's such a great thing in our lives. I don't, you
Right.
never outgrow needing somebody to help you, no matter
That's
how
right.
old you get. So
That's awesome, man. I saw that you were working on a greatest hits project. Will that be for this
I
year?
am, I am. Thanks for asking. It'll be this year. I wish I had a date to give you. I don't yet, but I'll tell you some cool stuff. I'm working with Derek George on this record. Derek, for hardcore Bryan fans out there, Derek played guitar for me all through the '90s, and
Oh,
we
okay.
wrote a lot of hits together as well. He's a great singer, great writer. He's an incredible songwriter, and he is an unbelievable guitar player. But so we're going to produce it together. But uh, Derek is we've kind of got some cool little things happening. We're going to do probably a couple of kind of deep cuts that were sort of fan favorites,
Mm-hmm.
songs that never became a single that fans always wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be singles.
Oh, yeah.
And then I had a hit I wrote a song with Derek that was a big hit for Diamond Rio in the '90s, and so
Imagine
we're
that.
recording. Yeah, we're recording that, and I haven't said much about the duet partners on this project, but
Mm.
I will say that I have spoken, you know, a couple of times with Dana Williams with Diamond Rio
Oh, yeah.
about them possibly,
Mm-hmm.
being a part of it, and they said they would love to. So we'll see how that pans out. But
Oh,
there's going to be
that's,
probably several other people that I'll do some either if not duets, they'll be featured on something.
oh, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
man, that's cool to hear.
And
That's
then on
so cool
top
to
of
hear.
that, obviously we're recording, re-recording some hits too. So
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, you're not going back to the masters. You're actually re-recording. That's how you're putting together this package.
yep, that's
Heck
it.
yeah.
I was thinking something, Britt, when you're recording, when you're doing a re-record of hits,
Mm-hmm.
there's that kind of that pressure of, well, am I going to try to tackle it the same way? Do I need it to sound exactly the same? I know some fans are very, very particular about that, and I'm trying to be real sensitive to that. So I think it's important
Hmm.
to grab all the elements that people remember and recognize, but I also think it's okay to take some liberties here and there and kind of
Oh,
give it
yeah.
just a little bit of a some little nuances here and there, just to kind of inform the listener that this is an updated version.
Oh, yeah. That's cool, man. I am, and if you have, you'll pick up on it. Might as well just tell you. I tell all my guests this. I am a '90s and '80s country music nerd. Like I've always just known the weirdest facts, and like I immediately knew you were talking about Imagine That.
That's great.
I've
I
got
love it.
this memory of just who wrote what songs, what because I was the kid that was getting the CD and tapes, and I would read who would write each song and who produced the. I mean, I just did, and so doing this podcast has Billy Dean told me he goes, Britt, you're doing your calling, because he there's only there's only so many people that would know just the weirdest stats, about country music and all that. So
Yeah,
I'm putting it to good use by having a podcast. And
that's great, man.
oh
I
yeah, yeah,
love.
yeah. That's awesome, man. I'm excited about that Greatest Hits project. I will definitely be checking it out. There's been several artists from that generation, and that have repackaged. They've released some repackaged material.
Hmm.
Some of it great, but the reason I say that is because you said staying true and but yet giving it some freshness, So
Yeah.
I think that's awesome way to put it, and I'm excited to see what you do. I would love to hear "Me and the Moon" as a deep
Oh,
cut.
wow. That's a good idea, man. I love that song. It's man, it is such a great song, such a neat melody and kind of eerie and uh
Oh
that's
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up. I didn't even think about that.
oh yeah. It's got some of those minors in it. I don't know, man. It's a filler, like it makes you feel.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I've always loved. I had that first record, and I still call them records, by the way.
Yeah, me too. So do I. So
But
do I.
yeah, yeah. So it was a great record. But anyway, man, let's keep going. How many? Well, do you know about how many track listings you want to have on this project, or?
I kind of envision like a two-part thing, like an EP that's like 7 tracks, and then
Hmm.
and then a part two that has like 7 tracks. It's kind of
Oh
that's
yeah.
at least what's in my head.
Oh yeah. Oh man. Um, that's cool. That's real cool. Well, moving right along. Well, I was going to ask you this. Dollywood, you'll be at the Dreammore Resort, just I guess in a couple of weeks in
Yeah,
February. I was
yeah.
just there this past Saturday. I did an in-person interview with T.G. Shepherd, and
All
so
right.
I was at we had a room set. They set up for us to do the in-person stuff, and yeah, but he was performing. I saw your they flashed you up on the big sign, so I thought that was cool. That's gonna be
That's
fun,
great.
man.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I really am. It's going to be fun. It's a beautiful
Have you
place.
been to the Dreammore yet?
I did a different series there about 5 years ago with a couple other artists, and it was more of a songwriter type of thing, but it was more like a
Okay.
songwriter round. It wasn't centrally focused around me like this one will be,
Hmm.
but it was fun, and I got to stay at the hotel. It was gorgeous and,
Oh, I didn't
really
know it'd
great
been
place.
around that long. I thought so. I was thinking because I hadn't been in a while, but I was thinking it was only like a few years old, but it's been
Well,
around since before
I've been
COVID, I
wrong.
guess.
I've been wrong before, so I may be off there saying 5 years. It may be less years than that, but it seems like 5 years anyway.
Right, right, yeah. There was a lot of snow on the ground when we were there this past weekend. I know that.
I bet.
Yep. But anyway, I wrote that down in my notes. I thought that was cool that you were going to be there. Um, I love I love everything that she has, whether it's a hotel or a cabin or a lodge or a store. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just so immaculate and well done.
Yep.
Everything, all the details. It's.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely.
Have you ever had any? I guess you've met her, but you ever had any dealings with Miss Dolly?
Unless I'm just completely, it didn't make it to my memory. I think I would have remembered that, but I think that's maybe one of the only people I have not met in my industry, and I'm a huge admirer in
Mm-hmm.
every aspect. I mean, she's such a wonderful personality and a great actress, great singer, great songwriter, one of the greats as far as songwriting goes. And man,
Mm-hmm.
she's I've never heard. I mean, she's every note she sings is just impeccable. So, but I have not met her to my knowledge. So
Um, when you now, how old were you when you got your first deal? First deal.
probably 20, 19, 20, something like that. I lost the audio there.
All right. What about now?
I got you now.
I'm telling you, man. I promise. It's my Wi-Fi. It's been going in and out all day. I apologize.
No, it's all good.
I asked you, how old were you when you got your deal? Was you 19 or 20? Is that what you said?
I was about 19, 20, something like that.
Do you remember who your first? I don't know. Like who was one of the first names that you wanted to meet, or that you wanted to write songs with, or you wanted to pick their brain? Who do you remember the first person at that young age, or did it happen later on in your career when you finally met or got to work with somebody you always wanted to?
Gosh, I remember pretty early on. My manager knew Steve Warner pretty well, and I had kind of had a minor hit, and not that validated me for Steve to be able to write with me. I think Steve was good enough friends with my manager that he was like, sure, I'd love to write with him. And Steve was gracious enough to, let me come out and write with him when I was just getting kind of coming on to the scene. And I oddly enough, we wrote this song. I drove a car out there that I didn't even know that was going to make it. I didn't even know it was going to make it to his house. It was just a piece of crap, And we wrote this song, and it ended up getting cut a couple years later on Lila McCann. And there's a song called "You're Gone," and man, it was just one of those things. Everything just fell together. We wrote the song in about an hour, and a couple of years later, when Lila was tracking the song, she asked Steve and I to come and sing background vocals on it, and so that was an afternoon I'll never forget. It was really this. I got to watch this thing start from us writing, and all of a sudden we're in the studio a year and a half later, 2 years, and we're singing background vocals on it, and then Vince Gill came in and sang with us on the same day. So it was.
That's ridiculous.
Just one of those kind of, otherworldly type of moments,
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. That's awesome. That's funny. I had a singer-songwriter.
Not really what I anticipated for the song. I just was excited to be writing with Steve. I had no idea it would end up in the arms of a great singer like Lila, and ended up on a record. It's crazy to watch all that play out.
Oh man. Oh, what was it like when you found out Diamond Rio was going to cut? Imagine that.
Well, that was a big one. I mean, I was super excited. Just not that I was super excited with Lila too, but
I was
a big fan of Diamond Rio, and that was a kind of a full circle moment, because they were one of the first people to let me go out on the road with them and travel on their crew bus. And open with just an acoustic guitar. Pam Tillis and Diamond Rio let me go out and open and travel with them on the crew bus. And they were so nice to me and so kind. And to be, 2 or 3 years down the road, and all of a sudden they're recording a song that I had co-written with some buddies of mine. It was just crazy. I remember when they delivered the DAT to the bus. We were out on the road, and we popped it in and listened to it all the way down. We're like, holy crap, Diamond Rio's singing our song. It was just one of the coolest. Marty Rowe. I mean, how
Marty Rowe
they get any better than that as far as singers go, man.
Man, I saw them a few months ago, and with the fiddle player and the new drummer.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Yeah, they're great.
Phenomenal.
Man.
Yep, and I'm telling you. Yeah. So, are you at that point now where people can, because you're only a few years older than me, are you at that point where people are like, man, he's one of the icons from the 90s? Because you're so young, and you were, I'm only 44, but to know that you had so many hits in the golden era that many people are calling it now of the 90s. Do people, have you ever stopped and thought, man, I was part of that incredible golden generation? Because it's its own genre now, Bryan, is it not? 90s country.
Man, I do. I really, it's neat to hear people talk about it the way they do. And
Yeah.
yeah, I feel very blessed and honored to be kind of included in that alumni. You know, of course, I'm one of many, many, many great art. You know, there's a ton of artists in the '90s that
Yeah.
made a
Oh yeah.
huge impact. I think the one thing that's the coolest thing about the '90s country is everybody had their own identity. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
you when you heard certain people come on the radio, you know, you knew who they were instantly. You know, there wasn't
Exactly.
ever any guessing. You know, everybody had their own thing, and I think
Yep.
it was just such a everybody had such a broad choice of what they wanted. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm really feel very fortunate to be a part of it for sure.
Talking about that generation. Uh, did you have when you first came out? What was that? 94
Yeah,
or
something like that.
something like that. Um, did radio know what to do with a Bryan White? The reason I ask that is because coming out and releasing your first big record in '94, you know, like Someone Else's Star and all that.
Hmm.
You had, to me, you had it was fresh, it was different, and now, you know, Rebecca Lynn's played on classic country. But what I'm saying is, you had a different sound that from '89 to like '93, it didn't sound like what had really come before you. You were able to, and your producer push the boundaries a little bit. You know, did you ever get any you know, comments of we don't want to play a Bryan White, or were they ready for that fresh sound?
Uh,
Well, maybe it's just me. I thought you had a fresh, unique sound.
yeah. Well, first of all, I have to give a lot of credit to Kyle Lenning and Billy Joe Walker Jr. They were my producers on
Okay.
that first record. And I don't know that it was so much that we were trying to push any envelope
Mm-hmm.
or trying to be something, you know, or trying to force something to
Right.
happen as much as we were just trying to. Kyle and Billy were so great at uh, just finding the right band and the right players for the right artists. And
Mm.
I think they were brilliant in assembling the right players for that first record. And we just found great songs that suited my voice. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I just knew that I had a job to do, and it was to sing those songs like, it was like there was no tomorrow. And
Mm-hmm.
those guys, you know, did the rest. They made the records. They knew, you know, I mean, the musicians were just unbelievable. Paul Lyon, Lonnie Wilson, Matt Rawlings, Glenn Worf, Michael Rhodes, Brent Mason, Chris Lusinger. I
Oh
mean, the
wow.
list goes on and on. I know I'm forgetting a bunch of people, but they were just they were just masters of their instruments, and they knew how to paint around the vocal and make the song what it was. And it was just a real concerted team effort, and it all just worked. You know, I don't think we weren't trying to force something to happen so much as just trying to be great at making these songs pop. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
pop
just
and
pulled up.
pop meaning an objective, not a
Oh
genre. You
yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, that's cool.
So I
That's
didn't
cool to
never.
know.
I just realized I didn't answer the first part of the question. Sorry.
Well, I already forgot what I
Yeah.
asked.
Well, I think my this is just my perspective.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were a lot of people that really embraced it and played me and were on board in the beginning, but
Mm-hmm.
I know that there were specifically some people that it really took a long time for them to get on board with what I was doing as far
Mm-hmm.
as getting airplay. And I think there were probably a couple that I can recall that were never on board. They just couldn't fit me into the genre in their own minds.
Huh.
And you know, so you know, there was a little bit of everything from every area. I was just really pleased that it worked enough, and we broke enough in a lot of markets to where, you know, I was able to break through there and really do, make some good impact here and there,
Oh, you did, man. And back, with as I was looking up the first album, when with CMT, y'all could release a video, and the video does really well, but the single does not. And I just looking at this on Wikipedia, the first single that y'all had pitched was Eugene Eugenius, but see, I remember that there was a video that accompanied that. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then the next single, Look at Me Now, peaked at 24.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a video to that?
There was.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
Man, do you ever miss those days where you could turn on and watch a music video? Well, I mean, I guess you can on YouTube now, but y'all had, no social media, but y'all had music videos. And the music videos, when you'd hear the song on the radio, at least for me, I would automatically associate that music video,
Yeah.
Golly, what a day, what a time.
Yeah, I know. I remember I was just as big of a fan as I was going through it. I was a fan of all of it. I watched CMT and I listened to the radio all the time. So I was a fan of so many people that were coming up as I was coming up, and I knew the tunes before. I mean, it's like I could hear two notes and I would know what record it was, or I would know I could see the first scene of a video, and I'd go, oh yeah, that's so and so, and I was just so immersed in my world. I really loved it. It was so much fun.
That's cool to hear you say that, man. It really is that you actually still paid attention to your whoever else was in your class of artists. You still watch, you still knew the videos, and also I guess being so young when you first got your deal, I would imagine like artists that had already been in it, since the late 80s, early 90s. That had, man, it'd been hard for me not to enjoy every moment too,
Yeah.
But Leanne, she was about younger, a few years younger than you, or you're about it's not too far off.
I think she's about 6 or 7. I think she's about 6 or 7 years younger than me. I think she maybe just turned 40, I think.
Okay, yeah, so, she did. I saw that.
Yeah.
As I was asking you about, or talking about Leanne, I know you get asked this all the time in interviews. I try to talk about different things that y'all don't get a chance to talk about. But yeah. I have to mention that you were on one of the most successful country music tours, and that was with Leanne Rimes.
Yeah.
I mean, that was huge.
The Something to Talk About tour.
That's right.
Man, it was so fun and so well put together, and it was just a great bill. I think Leanne and I gelled really well together. We've tried real hard to make the show seamless, and clearly she was, she was super stardom at that time. But she was very adamant about making the show feel like a show, like seamless, like we would end the night together. We would end the whole, show together with a duet or two. And
what would y'all sing ending the show? Something to Talk About?
We did Something to Talk About, and we also did From This Moment On. We did I think for a little while we did I Can't Make You Love Me. It was a Bonnie Raitt song. And yes. I don't remember in what order we did them in the show, but those are definitely 3 songs that we did together. And she was so fun to sing with, man. I mean, when we sang together, it was like we kind of knew each turn each other was going to take. We each turn down a little road or doing a lick or a little vocal chop here and there. We always felt like we were kind of on the same frequency. We knew each other's sentences before we spoke them, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, man. She past several months she'll release some of these backstage just acoustic. One of her acoustic players, they'll start playing. She does some covers, and she's slaying it. Oh man, she's slaying it. It's so good.
Yep, no fear. That's the one thing I can say about Lynn is she as a vocalist, no fear.
Yeah,
and she's never faltered either. I've never heard her falter. She always sounds great, always.
And, yep. And that's crazy. I typed in 1995. This was who was in the class of '95. Bryan White. You had your Tracy Byrd. This is on the charts. John Barry, Neil McCoy, Wade Hayes, Black Hawk. Dolly was on the charts with "I Will Always Love You" and Vince. Ty Herndon, Trish Yearwood, Daryl Singletary, man, Lori Morgan, Shenandoah, Patty Loveless, Mark Colley. You were in there in the mix with some of these giants, and hats off to you, man. I love that.
And thank you again. It's something I'm really honored to be a part of.
What song did you write that Winona recorded? Do you remember?
I co-wrote a song with Derek George, who I mentioned earlier, Derek and Neil Thrasher, and it was a song called "Sometimes I Feel Like Elvis."
Oh,
and,
yeah, I know that song.
Kind of a power ballad, kind of a dark lyric.
Yep.
Really cool song. To be able to have a Winona cut was such a trip,
That's huge.
Such an iconic artist. And one thing specific I remember, she sent me a handwritten letter saying, thank you for contributing, to this record. So it was really sweet of her.
Yeah, I'm a huge wife fan. So when you said sometimes I feel like Elvis, I knew exactly the song you were talking about. That's awesome, man. I didn't know that until I got some information that PR sent, but that's pretty cool, man. Yeah. Well, have you ever done any shows with Y?
One in particular that I remember, I'm sure I've done a lot more, but the one that sticks out to me is I did New Year's Eve at SeaWorld with the Judds, and it was awesome. It was so cool. It was televised. I think it was maybe on TNN, and it was just great, man. It was so fun. Hard work because I think we had to perform some of the songs multiple times, for TV, you got to do it over and over, but the crowd was great. And, it was a pretty monumental show for me. My mom and my brother flew out to Orlando to come to the show, and it was great.
Oh, that would have been like
I've actually got that. I've got that somewhere. I don't know if we've put that on YouTube or not. There may be some clips on there on YouTube, on my YouTube channel.
That would be. I'm going to look it up. So that must have been one of the a get together, like a reunion.
I think it was. Yeah. In fact, I think it was kind of billed as that.
Yeah, so. Yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah. Also, I wanted to ask you this: what song did you write? And I might be wrong, but this is going by memory. I Don't Believe in Goodbyes.
I did.
Sawyer.
I co-wrote that with Scotty Emmerich and Mark Miller from Sawyer Brown.
Yeah. Mark's been on the show before. He was an awesome guest. I can't believe I just remembered that, Brian. See, I told you, I have this weird memory of who wrote what songs and what label people were on. Yeah, it's just, but my whole passion and vision with this show is, I just wanted to give a space for icons and legends from 80s and 90s country to let people know that y'all still tour, y'all still make music, and y'all are still very active. And I just love giving a space to promote whatever that artist is doing. Like today, I thought we've got to let people know about this mentorship program, because I think that's the coolest thing for an artist of your caliber, to pour in to aspiring artists, songwriters, producers, all that, people that want to get into the business. So yeah, I just wanted you to know that this is I just was so excited to get you on here to not only just to encourage you. I think this greatest hits package is going to be killer, and the way that you're describing it, I'm telling you, I can't wait to see what songs you put on there. Do you ever do live acoustic stuff, like not in concert, but like or were you doing any like acoustic stuff during COVID, like for Facebook Live or stuff like that?
I didn't do a whole lot of that. I've never, that's never really been my bag. I know a lot of people
Right.
feel comfortable doing that. I didn't do a whole lot of that. One thing I did do, I did a lot of sessions during that time. Kind of opened the doors to that too. Kind of like the mentoring. Just basically said, "Hey, I'm home. Here's my studio, and here's what I do. If you guys want me to play guitar or sing backgrounds or play drums or whatever on stuff." And so I did a little bit of that through all the kind of the shutdown, and it was really fun too. I had a blast because I didn't have anything else to do, and I was here at home, and
Yeah.
man, it's always fun to play and do what I love doing.
That's awesome. Are you a big runner?
I am. I'm a little bit out of practice because this weather has really shut me down. You really haven't been able to go out and run in this weather here in Nashville, but it's starting to clear up, and I haven't run a legitimate race in a couple of years, and I just got invited to run another full, and I haven't run a full since 2019 in Savannah. But yes, to answer your question, I do kind of fancy myself as a runner.
That's I have a reason I asked you that, but a friend of mine just got back from Savannah a few weeks ago. They did the full. I wonder if it's the same one. It may be.
Probably is.
Yeah.
It's probably the rock and roll. That's it. You mean it just happened?
It's probably about 2 weeks ago, maybe. Maybe it was Jekyll Island. She did it.
Okay, I'm not sure. The one I did was in November. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was this year.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. Now that I think about it, I think it was just right down the road at Jekyll.
Okay.
If you've ever heard of Jekyll Island, I'm not sure are you familiar with some Georgia places?
Yeah, a little bit. That one doesn't ring a bell, but I did have a lot of fun. I did the Savannah full rock and roll marathon 2 years in a row, and
that's cool.
And it was really, really cool. I enjoyed it a lot.
Reason I was asking,
I ran for St. Jude for both of those races.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
It was crazy because I didn't know anybody at all. And you drive 8 hours, and you stay in this hotel with all these St. Jude runners, and you kind of get to know people, and you're meeting people and chatting over breakfast, but you don't know anybody, and there's something kind of cool about it, because everybody's there and they've all got the same goals, which just to stay in there and make it across the finish line. And I'll tell you, this is a funny story. The first year I ran that full in Savannah, we've got everybody wears a bib, and you got your number and your name on there. So I'm coming down the last stretch, that's the last mile, and there's a lot of people, and I start hearing people going, "You can do it, Bryan. You can do it, Bryan. You're great. You're gonna," and I guess because my brain was so focused on the moment, like I literally for a second thought, "Oh man, how do these people know my name?" I actually had that thought. I was like, "All these people know my name, or these people know my music or something." And then at the end of when I got across the finish line, I was like, "Yeah, you moron! Your name is on your bib." So a true story. True story.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The reason I brought that up, I was preparing for this episode. I saw that on your website, I guess when you tweet or post something on social media, shows it up on your website.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
saw that your son had committed to Sanford to run.
Yes, he did.
That is awesome.
Thank you. He got a track scholarship, and he's gonna run for them, and we're super proud of him. We're super
Oh,
proud
man.
of both of our boys, and yeah, it's crazy. Both of our kids are runners. Jack has kind of gone on to run track, and that's kind of been his wheelhouse. He runs the 4x400 relay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. I used to coach track.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, now, so I guess one is going to graduate this year, and you still have a younger son as well? Or
I have an older son. He goes to UT.
oh, he's
Knoxville.
already graduated. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, he's a sophomore at UT Knoxville.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is he the one that recorded, that released something a couple years ago?
No, that's Jack. That's my
Okay.
younger one.
Okay.
That's the Sanford kid.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that was a great song that you had produced that y'all released.
Thank you very much, man. We had fun, and it's a lot of fun to work with your kid, and just kind of it's fun to just sit back and let them do their thing. And then when you
Yeah.
when they ask you what you think, or when you can tell you've got a legitimate window to jump in there and kind of give your 2 cents, it's fun. But I try not to get in the way. I try to just kind of let him develop and do his thing,
Now that is not the Jack White that a lot of people might be thinking of.
Jackson White. Yeah.
Jackson White. Okay.
Yeah.
Jackson White. Now, is he still wanting to do anything with music, or is that a little one-off for a while?
No, he's really passionate about it. He's still, he's writing every day and still developing, and
Awesome.
he's taking lots of lessons, and he's very adamant about developing and getting better and better, and
Oh, yeah.
making records. So
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. And I guess y'all recorded right there in that studio.
most of it. I think what's been fun is a lot of my friends have studios too, and if they
Yeah.
kind of handle an expertise that's outside my box or outside my wheelhouse, it gives us an excuse and an opportunity to go to another studio and let Jackson kind of get another experience working with other people, and,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's learning how communal music really is,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
So-
man, I bet. I'll be, let's see, is there a place called the Palace downtown?
Yeah, the Nashville Palace.
Nashville Palace, that's
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I'll be there Thursday for a canine patrol. That's retired canines,
Okay.
and they
Yeah.
do a big fundraiser concert. Are you familiar with? Do you know? Well, are you familiar? Of course you are. You know Jesse Keith?
I've been around him a little bit.
Yeah.
I used to know a couple people that were kind of in his circle, and
Mhm.
we've actually done a couple of the same festivals together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, me and him's he's a good buddy, and I'm actually we're working on a project, but he'll be there Thursday. So
Cool.
yeah, him and like Carolyn Dawn Johnson and
Yep.
a few others. Anita Cochran. I've never
Yeah,
seen her
yeah, I
in
love
person,
Anita.
so I'm excited to see her. But yeah, I don't know why I asked you that. I just
Yeah, that's great. That sounds like it's going to be fun.
yeah, and then I'll be back in Hendersonville next Tuesday for a Hendersonville tornado relief
All right.
big concert. with
Okay.
the Isaacs.
Yeah.
You know that, yeah. So
Yeah, I love them. They're great.
yeah, but I love it up there, and I wish you nothing but the best, man. I'm so excited for this mentorship program and the greatest hits package. We'll promote it. You may not want us to promote it because you might get bombarded with.
Yeah.
What-
No, bring it on. I love it.
Now you got a lot of dates, or is this kind of, or have you backed off of touring a lot, or is it,
No, man, it's that time of year where things are a little bit slower, but
Okay.
springtime is pretty busy, and then dates will start coming in, for
Oh yeah.
summer and fall, eventually. So yeah.
Because I saw that y'all were on a little triple threat tour. You, Daryl Worley, and Wade Hayes a couple years ago. That looked like a
Yeah,
lot
that
of
was
fun.
fun. I really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. It was kind of the first thing that, we sort of emerged doing with music after all of the, horrible stuff with
Yeah.
2020. That was the first thing I did coming out of all that.
Oh
So
wow. Okay.
so lots of memories wrapped around it. It was such a nice, release to,
Mm-hmm.
to get out and play and just
Mm-hmm.
be out doing something.
Yeah.
So, and
Hey.
I love those guys. I love Daryl. I love Andy and Wade, all those guys. It's always a good day when I get to hang
Oh,
out
that's
and share the
cool.
stage with them. Yeah.
Have you heard any of his new record?
Yeah, I've heard a lot of it. It's awesome. It's
It
killer,
is,
man.
man. Me and my buddy we built a fire and we're listening to the title track on repeat. I thought, I
Yeah.
mean, it sounded so well done, man. So
Yeah,
props
it's
to him.
legit. It
Yeah.
is legit,
So,
man.
yours is going to be legit too, man. So, wait, before I let you go, are you going to put anything new on the Greatest Hits package? Another single or?
Probably so. Man, I feel like I don't know, but I've been thinking about maybe doing a couple of hymns or a couple of songs that I grew up singing in church.
Yeah.
I get asked all the time, when are you going to do a record of hymns or something that's, a faith-based type of record? And I think, there may be some things like that on there too on this. I don't
Yeah.
know. Or I may do a total offshoot where it's just strictly all that stuff. I don't know, but I feel that coming on. I feel like that's
Yeah.
hanging in the air for sure.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool, man. I hope you do. I hope you do. Well, thank you so much, Bryan, for hanging out. I really appreciate it, and we'll talk soon, and hopefully we'll get you back on the show. And hey, when Jackson makes another record, we'll get him on the show.
Oh, man, that's super nice of you, man. And, hey, and you too. Thanks for your time. Congrats on the show. And
Thank you.
anything I can do to help, let me know.
Awesome, man. Well, you have a good one, and we'll talk soon.
You too, man. Have a good rest of the week.
All right, you too. I'll see you.
See you, buddy.
Bye.
We were roping the wind every Friday night, singing those songs, living our lives with all our friends down in the lowest places. We would ride around with the tailgate down, rodeo playing in the background. All those memories we were making. We never went down until the sun came up. Papa loved Mama blasting in my truck. I was calling Baton Rouge. Shameless, it never got old. I still hear that thunder roll. It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. Well, the whole town cried the day Nolan died. We sang the dance at his last goodbye. And up the river, his vessel will sail on. Just to relive all our glory days, singing those songs sun came up. Papa loved mama blasting in my truck. I was calling Baton Rouge. Shameless, it never got old. I still hear that thunder roll. It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. We were walking the beaches of Cheyenne, standing outside the fire. I'm still thankful for my unanswered prayers, looking in another's eyes. Yeah, we ain't going down until the sun comes up. Papa loved mama blasting in my truck. Then I'm still calling Baton Rouge. Shameless, it'll never get old. I still hear that thunder roll. It's where I've been. It's made me who I am. Somebody play me those songs again. If tomorrow never comes, I wonder what she's doing now.